Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 180. Yes, I am still on a road trip with my family. Right now we are in Trondheim, staying in this very nice hotel before we are trying to get all the way up above the Arctic Circle and get some beach camping going on with our tent and Tesla Model Y and everything again. But there has been a lot of great news this week we have to go through, so let's get into it because Tesla had their earnings call and there was records all around. At the same time, the auto industry is in panic, especially in Germany. And Ford is cutting prices as much as $10,000 on their F-150 Lightning that they are already losing a lot of money on. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Tesla held their earnings call this week and it was records all around. And we also got a lot of great news and a few bombshells. There has been a lot of hype about Tesla's earnings call and Tesla's margins, but people tend to forget when they are looking at only Tesla that everyone else is bleeding money right now on EVs. Sure, BYD has a little margin, but not much. But Ford is losing like 40% on their EVs, and Gene Munster just said on CNBC the Polestar is losing about 45%. So no, it is not the one leading the race, earning close to 20% gross margin on their EVs and having an operating margin of 10% that you should worry about. It is all the others losing money on every EV they sell. How are they ever going to compete? It is the legacy automakers that will struggle going forward with retooling of the old outdated factories, winding down the ICE production, retraining old staff and just trying to get the talent to make great software. They are nowhere near closing the gap and starting earning money on their EVs. And people are talking about Tesla dropping in margins. Yes, dropping to still world-leading margins. As Tesla also talked about in their earnings report, record revenue and record profits, and they had $1 billion in free cash flow and added $700 million to their bank account. So now they have over $23 billion in their bank. Very impressive with all the ramping they're doing and investing in AI and robotics and factories and charging infrastructure that nobody else is doing, and still having about 10% operating margins after all the price cuts as well. Remember, someone like Ford is losing money on their EV business, and trailing 12 months, Ford has had a negative 1.9% operating margin. Tesla is doing extremely well, especially if we consider the microenvironment and the high inflation rates. And Tesla did have about $25 billion in revenue, which is more than what Tesla did in all of 2019. Just if you hear people that Tesla is not growing, just show them this chart from James, where we can see Tesla is now making as much revenue in one quarter as they did in a whole year just 4 years ago. But Elon did also talk about their dedicated robotaxi vehicle, which will be the fastest vehicle to build in history. It will be flying off the production line when they start production of that beast. That is a revolution in what a car is and how it's being produced. Can't wait to see what that turns out to be. They also talked about the misunderstanding that people have about cars made with gigacasting will be harder and more expensive to repair. But as Lars explained at the earnings call, because Tesla is using gigacastings, they can actually make a repair to the rear casting 10 times cheaper and 3 times faster. So that myth is now busted as well. As Elon said, this is how all cars will be made in the future and why everyone is copying them. And in Q3, Tesla will allow transfer of full self-driving software from your old vehicle to your new vehicle. But only in Q3. So is that because they will take it out of beta in Q4 and maybe rise the prices? Well, we'll see. Time will tell. But the biggest news was probably that Elon said they were already in talks with a big OEM for licensing out their full self-driving software, which was inevitable, as we have talked about before, but very exciting to get this out officially, as this is a huge deal, as this can bring in a tremendous amount of profits for Tesla in the future. So very cool, and can't wait to see if this is Ford they're talking with. What is your guess? Leave your guess down below. But speaking of profits, we see that Tesla energy business is really starting to make some good profits and contributing to the overall profits of the company. And Tesla is also widening the gap between the cost and profits per megawatt hour, and the energy generation and storage revenue did grow by 74%, and Tesla has already deployed more energy storage this year than they did in all of last year. Very, very nice. But they did also say that they would shut down some of the production line in Q3 for updates. So no, not because of demand problems, but to update the production line. So that sounds great. Hopefully that is something to do with the refreshed Model 3, hopefully, and a faster production afterwards. But something to keep in mind for the Q3 numbers, as they should not grow as fast as they did in Q2. So we did get a lot of great stuff at the earnings call, more than I can put into this news show. So I will highly recommend that you listen to it all. It lasts only 1 hour and definitely worth it. But let's give Phil LeBeau the last saying about Tesla's earnings call, because even the mainstream media is starting to get it.
Look, when you look at the second quarter, this was a sensational quarter for Tesla. Any way you look at it, both in terms of beating the street on the top and the bottom line, that was the good news initially, and people, I think, were expecting that. One other thing from the conference call is the question of whether or not they would increase guidance for 1.8 million vehicles being delivered this year, because they're ahead of pace in the first half of the year. Well, they're not increasing their guidance. In fact, they said, look, we have to bring some tooling, do some retool some of the facilities, and as a result, we will not be delivering more than what we initially guided. They didn't bring their guidance down. They just kept it at 1.8 million. That's a bit of a disappointment, a slight one near term for some Tesla investors who were hoping that they might say 1.9, maybe even 2 million. But all in all, when you look at this quarter, Brian, this was a very solid quarter from Tesla.
Yes, the strongest quarter ever. You know what that means. Stock went down. But so were many other stocks that day. So let's see if we can get back over that 300 mark soon. Last week, I did report on the first ever Cybertruck being produced at the Texas factory, and just how big of a deal this is. But it seems like Ford is feeling the same way. Because just a couple of days after Tesla announced that the first Cybertruck has been produced, Ford slashed its prices for the F-150 Lightning. You know, the car that they are losing a ton of money on selling, they cut the price as much as $10,000. I don't think that Ford suddenly found $10,000 of saving and passed that on to the customers as Tesla does, as they are still losing a lot of money. Only Tesla is able to do that right now. I think Ford is just really scared of the Cybertruck, as Jim Farley, who usually speaks very nicely about Elon and Tesla, was out saying like a month ago how the Cybertruck was not a real truck, but the Ford made the real truck. I think Jim is in for a real big surprise. But Tesla did give a little pushback to Ford on the earnings report, as they wrote on the picture of the Cybertruck being tested, built to do real work. I think Ford is scared, but it seems weird to lower the price, as Ford said they had 250,000 pre-orders of the F-150 Lightning, and they are far from getting through those pre-orders. But if that is still the case, why are they lowering the prices? Because their production is nowhere near keeping up with the pre-orders they have for the Lightning. I think they're really scared of as their production is nowhere near the hoped for target, and maybe even the demand is not there. And now Tesla is very close on starting real production of the Cybertruck. So in about a year from now, Tesla should have a pretty good production ramp of the Cybertruck, as we have seen with both the Model 3 and Y in brand new factories. So Ford knows that sometime next year, the production of the Cybertruck will far outpace the production of the F-150 Lightning. And with 1.5 million pre-orders for the Cybertruck, Tesla can just keep on going. And Ford's flagship, the F-150 Lightning, will suddenly look as an inferior in production and sales, as we see with the Mach-E compared to the Tesla Model Y, where there is no contest whatsoever, not even close, as you can see here for the sales in the US in the first half of the year. No competition. And I think we will see the same thing happen with the Cybertruck and the Lightning, and this scares Ford, as this is the truck that should carry them to the future with the electric vehicles, but the Cybertruck might come in and eat some of Ford's lunch now. The Model Y is not really a true competitor to Ford, but the Cybertruck, that is in direct competition with Ford's bread and butter. And Elon even commented on the price, saying the Ford F-150 Lightning is a good vehicle, just somewhat expensive, especially given the interest rates these days for any kind of loan. So that is an interesting comment, as we don't know the price of the Cybertruck anymore. But if Elon says the Lightning is too expensive, that might vote very well for the Cybertruck's price. And Tesla is earning a lot of money on their cars, so Tesla could even come out with a little less margin on the Cybertruck in the beginning, just to get the rant about this truck going and still earn money on the truck, where Ford is still losing even more money now with the price cuts. No wonder Ford is scared of this beast that is about to come out. But there are still people that believe that the F-150 Lightning will beat the Cybertruck, even with all these facts we have of the most pre-ordered vehicle in history. One person even bet Ray for Tesla that the Lightning would beat the Cybertruck. Ray, I can only see that as money in the bank. And the German news outlet Handelsblatt wrote another article of just how bad the German automakers are doing. Car production in Europe is recovering more slowly than expected. From January to May, Volkswagen, Audi, BMW and Mercedes-Benz alone produced a good 500,000 fewer cars on their home continent than in the same period in 2019. According to the information service Marklins, this corresponds to a decrease of almost 20%. Yes, as we have talked about many times before, the ICE business will never get back to pre-pandemic, no matter what the old guys are saying. And this is showing us exactly that. But it's not only the Germans. Europe's auto production and vehicle registration shrunk by 1.6 million vehicles compared to the time before the corona pandemic. And it's even worse than what it appears. Volkswagen, Audi, BMW and Mercedes are running out of orders. So they might be hitting new highs with EV registration, but that will change when there are no longer any backlog for the EV to sell from. Volkswagen brand chief warned that the future of Volkswagen is at stake. The Volkswagen brand has cut Europe production by over 22% at its main EV plant in Zwickau. I made a whole video about this factory. One of the two assembly lines will drop from 3 shifts to 2 due to slow EV demand. So not only is their ICE business shrinking, but so is their EV business. And the order books for EVs are now down 30 to 50% across the brand in the Volkswagen Group. High registration numbers do not reflect the real market situation. Problems will become apparent by Q4, maybe in the beginning of next year, when once order backlog are worked through. So we are truly seeing a perfect storm brewing for the German auto industry. They have reacted too late. They thought they only need to make an electric car and didn't realize they needed a smart car before it was too late, and tried to force it through by buying carried the software company, but that has been nothing but a disaster. So the product of the future, the electric car, that Volkswagen is making is not up to the task, and they are seeing their ICE sales declining as well, and they seem to be living on their order backlog. But that will soon enough run out, and then we will truly see how bad the situation is for the German automakers. Meanwhile, Tesla has officially asked to expand the Berlin factory from 500,000 to 1 million. We have already known they would do that, so that is not the news. I did make a whole video about this chess move from Tesla with the factory almost 2 years ago, but for Tesla to do it as the German automakers are struggling and cutting production, Tesla is adding production. It must hurt pretty bad, seeing Tesla just keeps growing and having industry-leading margins, and at the same time you are struggling just to keep the ship from not sinking. And we just saw some new pictures of the next part of the Berlin factory. Tesla is not even taking it slow and making one more phase of the 4 steps we have been talking about. It seems that Tesla want to build the whole upper part of the Berlin factory in one go. So it's going to be very exciting to follow that construction and see how Tesla will do compared to the German automakers. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show.
Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts.
And if you think Volkswagen is running things in Europe EV market, well, the best brand is still Tesla, and the best-selling EV is still Model Y by far. Niklas made a nice little thread for us on Twitter, going through some of the many countries in Europe so we can see who is the best brand and who has the best model. And the story is pretty much the same everywhere. The best brand, Tesla. The best model, Model Y. The best brand, Tesla. The best model, Model Y. The best brand, Tesla. The best brand, Tesla. The best brand, Tesla. The best brand, Tesla. Yeah, you get the point, right? So yes, it did not come as a surprise that the Model Y was Europe's best-selling vehicle of any kind in the entire first half of the year. And I know exactly why. After taking it on this road trip my family and I are on, so much cargo space, so fun to drive in the mountains, and the safest car on the planet, and it has the best software on the planet as well, and the best charging network that makes the road trip in an electric car so easy with no range anxiety, as the car controls everything for you. You don't even have to think. Range anxiety is for people with ICE cars, or people with less capable EVs, of course. Model Y is probably the best car on the planet right now. No wonder it has taken Europe by storm, and the rest of the world as well, as it did also become the best-selling car in China in the first half of 2023. So if you hear Tesla having trouble in China, well, if trouble is having the best-selling car in the country, I would like to see what a car company not in trouble look like. Tesla is even a top 10 best-selling brand in China. Not EVs, just overall. So Tesla's Model Y, the best-selling car, was confirmed for China and Europe in the first half of 2023, and should be the number 4 in the US. That should put it as the best-selling car in the world in the first half of 2023. Congratulations, Tesla. And Homer shared on Twitter NHTSA's list of the car companies with the most recalls. No software updates, but real recalls, and Ford is still the one with the most recalls. And as you can see on the list, or don't see, Tesla is nowhere to be found. But I thought Tesla's build quality was so bad that they all have to be recalled. Yeah, I guess it's not Tesla that has bad build quality. And Sawyer shared this on Twitter, the luxury car brand with the best and worst relative maintenance cost. The 10-year cost of maintenance, the average Tesla is just 7.1% of the original purchase price, the least of any luxury brand. In my opinion, it is also part of the luxury and quality of a car, the least recalls and less maintenance cost. What is not to like? So no wonder that Tesla is also leading when it comes to loyalty from customers. In the luxury brand segment in the first 4 months of 2023, fewer than half of the households bought the same brand when they returned to the market. Only Tesla bucked that trend, with 68% of its owners buying another Tesla. Let that one sink in for a moment. When you hear people saying Tesla makes bad cars, well, the 4.5 million customers didn't think so, and they want another one. 7.5% of BMW's households migrated to Tesla in 2023 compared to 6.8% in 2022, while 8.9% of Mercedes-Benz household did so compared to 7.8% in 2022. For Lexus, the numbers were 7.2 versus 5.8. So yes, Tesla is stealing shares from the old legacy automakers, not the other way around, and they are stealing more and more. And that is also what we can see in the earnings report. They continue to grow in the overall market share, as we can see here with Europe, China and the US. And Tesla continues to win contracts for huge energy storage system. They have secured 2 contracts worth $413 million to install 218 megapacks in 2 energy storage facilities in Massachusetts. The 2 facilities will have a combined capacity of 800 megawatt hours. And the US Senator, Mrs. Warren, wrote on Twitter, "Since Elon Musk took on Twitter, I'm concerned that Tesla's board has failed to manage conflict of interest from his role of CEO of Tesla and Twitter. Tesla's board has a legal obligation to serve its shareholders. I am urging the SEC to investigate." I mean, how brain dead is this woman? Firstly, he's no longer the CEO of Twitter, so get your facts straight. Secondly, I am one of those shareholders, and I'm very happy with Elon and what he's doing as CEO of Tesla, and for Twitter for that matter, as I am a big user of Twitter and use it a lot, and it has become a much better tool since Elon took over. But why, Elizabeth, was that not a problem with Elon being CEO of a SpaceX, or Neuralink, or the Boring Company, and now XAI? You make no sense whatsoever, Elizabeth. You are only hating on Elon, nothing else. How you could become a senator of the US is a mystery to me. And Nissan has now joined Tesla's North American charging standard. Welcome, Nissan. And Tesla will attend this year Munich Auto Show, September the 5th. So Tesla will attend the IAA Mobility Show in Munich in Germany and will display its electric vehicle lineup in front of what is expected to be a very enthusiastic crowd. This decision comes at a time when many automakers are looking to trim their market budget, like we have heard from Volkswagen, but Tesla is doing great and will now press the accelerator, while many legacy automakers are lifting their foot from the accelerator. And Tesla is also at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, showing off the power of the Plaid, and they have even brought Optimus to the show. Nice to see Tesla really starting to get out there to all the big events around the world. And if you're worried about buying a Tesla with white interior, well, Tesla showed off the red wine test, and no problems whatsoever. Nice. And so it begins. Mitsubishi leaves China because the company is not competitive. This will not be the last of the legacy automakers to pull out of China because they cannot keep up with the competition and are not producing enough BEVs. That is already above 1/3 of the entire car market in China. Let's see who will be the next to leave. And just because it's an EV and it comes from China does not mean it will simply be a success. Zeekr 001 offers most range in its class among Chinese BEVs, 1,032 kilometers CLTC though, powered by 140 kilowatt hours of batteries. That is just insane. Starting at 300,000 RMB, Zeekr sold 71,941 units. Sales declined a bit this year due to being the most complained about vehicle. Good specs doesn't necessarily translate to robust sales. Exactly. Not everyone will simply succeed. And Fox News ratings are in an absolute freefall after their primetime revamp turned out to be a massive flop. Yes, it's not easy being mainstream media these days, as Elon also wrote on Twitter, "Should I just buy Fox News and CNN? Probably would be best for everyone. Buy them and turn them off." Well, he could probably turn them around too. Tesla has officially launched Charge on Solar in US and Canada. With charging on solar, your Tesla vehicle can charge using only excess solar energy produced by your Tesla solar system. You can set it up through your Tesla app. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to give a huge shout out to all the supporters of this channel. Thank you so much. I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you.
And let's end off with a bit of fun. It's not always easy being a dad, but here are one of the absolute legends. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. And if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.